Jesus recognizes what's at the heart of sin, and what's at the heart of sin is really our own weakness. But he even takes it a step further in going on, and he says, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. And it's very direct, it's very clear that he's talking about Satan. Satan, who is alive in this world. And the prayer kind of refocuses and reorganizes our thinking and our mentality to realize that Satan is more powerful than me. Satan is more powerful than all of us, but God is more powerful than him. And so it's this prayer that's reorganizing the way that we're looking at our lives, recognizing that on our own we really are helpless. There's this process in life of kind of starting to recognize the paths that we continually go down that lead us into temptation, that lead us into sin. I think for some of us it's something as simple as watching a movie that dramatizes a relationship that we could have with someone else, telling us that this relationship is going to fulfill some sort of a need in our heart that is unfulfilled. And God clearly tells us that his way is the only way, that the relationship with him is the only way. And so maybe for you that's the path that you go down. And maybe for some of us it's just the time that we spend on the internet when we're alone as a path that we continually walk down that leads us down the road of temptation. And so Jesus again leads us to this point where he says, not only, Lord, would you forgive me of the sin that I committed, but would you lead me in a way that's not leading me down these paths anymore? And Jesus doesn't pretend that these temptations aren't real. I think there's so many religious leaders and so many people that could just skirt around the fact that there are real temptations in our lives. Leaders that would have us believe that there's some sort of a self-help method that we could take to help ourselves into living as better people. Jesus goes right into the face of all that and says, temptations are real. These paths that we go down are real. God, how can we be on our face and on our knees before you in order to recognize that these are paths that we don't want to go on anymore? And so I don't really know where you're at. I think for some of us, we need to just start to recognize that there are these paths that we continually go down. Like we were talking about before, maybe that's the first step for us, is just recognizing that, hey, when I get into this situation, I continually am led down a path of temptation and trials. Maybe for others of us, we've been recognizing that for years and years and years, but we've never actually come to a point where we're asking God to deliver us out of this spot and into a place of holiness. Maybe for us, recognizing that Satan's power in this world is real and giving over authority of our lives to one that is more powerful than him is the next step. Whatever it is, let us recognize the simplicity and power of the message that Jesus came to preach.